Paul Greengrass, welcome to AQMovieReview.com and welcome to Derry.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure.
You were mentioning you were here 33 years ago. Can you just give me a bit of a...
3 years ago, yeah. I was just driving in this morning and I actually was quite emotional, to be fair. You know that when you come over and you see the city in the distance and sometimes the light just catches it, you know, and it just looks like a shining city.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like that. And I remember thinking, it's 33 years since I first came here, and I was a very young and very impressionable, naive young man, you know. And this city taught me such a lot about life over the years. And I've met so many inspiring people from all parts of the city over the years, and it's been the great privilege of my life to make films here, and so you know, I'm very, very, very pleased and proud to be back here.
And obviously, your link with the city didn't start with the movie Bloody Sunday. You know, you've mentioned your relationship with Raymond.
I came here. I started working on World in Action when I came out of university, which no longer exists now, but then was a ITV program, and that's what brought me here. I was sent by my editor to cover the first hunger strikes, and that's when I met Raymond McCartney. Eventually, I made a film about him, who he was and why he'd ended up, you know, on hunger strike, what that was all about, and that's really where my association with the city began, you know. And you know, I made many films all over Ireland and the north, all the way through Bloody Sunday, and then finally with Oma, which came after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm very, very proud of the work I've done in you know, across those years.
And obviously, you mentioned Bloody Sunday. The movie was released in 2002. Obviously, it's a story that continues even to this day.
For
it continues.
sure, yeah.
And I was just wondering, what were your thoughts on whenever Savile was announced, and also David Cameron's words in Parliament?
Well, I remember it very clearly. I was filming. I can't remember which film it was. Was it one of the Bourne movies? I can't remember. No, maybe it was Green Zone. I can't remember. But I remember I was filming, and I remember stopping so that I could watch. You know, and I remember the hand coming out the window. Do you remember?
Mm.
And I found that day I remember speaking to John Kelly, you know, from the families afterwards. I found it very, very moving. The dignity of those families was I thought, very conspicuous. But I also thought that Prime Minister Cameron's words, long decades overdue though they were, I thought he found the right words. I thought they were necessary, but I think he found the right words, and I think that it was a heartfelt and sincere apology, and it was necessary, but it was a milestone, yet another milestone down a long road of conflict resolution.
And you're meeting some of the families later on today, is that correct?
Yes, well, there's going to be a screening of Bloody Sunday, which is, I mean, it's nearly 15 years now, I think, since we made it. Not quite, but getting on for it. But it remains the great privilege of my life to have been lucky enough to have made that film and to have made it with communities in this city and with actors from here, and I think what will be interesting will be to have young people, you know, who maybe didn't live through those experiences and for whom they're probably, you know, things that belong to the history books so far as they're concerned. I think it'll be interesting to have them see the film. I think that will be interesting to see how they react, you know.
And congratulations on Captain Phillips.
Oh, thanks.
Can I have, what are your thoughts on the film? And you must be absolutely delighted with how it's been received, both by audiences and the critics.
Yeah, it's just goes to show you never can tell, how films are going to work. It was interesting. It just seems to have captured something. I don't know what it is. And people really seem to respond, so that's wonderful. Certainly beats it not being liked, that's for sure.
And was it your decision, that final scene with Tom Hanks, the one that everyone's talking about, that I think is that correct, that was a real life paramedic that you had on that scene? Was that your decision to do that?
Yeah.
Fantastic, because it's the scene in my opinion, it's the scene of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very kind. Well, it's a powerful scene, that's for sure. It's a very powerful scene, and Tom Hanks they're both brilliant in it. Very, very real and very simple, and it's just filled with compassion, isn't it? And heart and soul.
And Barkhad Abdi.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Even the backstory with how he got involved with the project. How did you find working with Barkhad?
Well, he's a remarkable young man. Very committed, very hard-working, but of course has a wonderful story to tell. Comes from Somalia, was lucky enough to get out. I used to say to him sometimes when he was playing, I said, what are you using to drive you? What's the fuel there? And he said, I sit at night, he said, and I think, what would my life have been like if I'd stayed there with no parents? And in the middle of this civil war, how easy it would have been for me to get mixed up in crime, and one thing would have led to another. And I use that to explore it because it's real to me. It's how easily my life could have gone that way.
I suppose that ties in with the whole relationship too. That you same theme with yourself and Raymond, that you were saying that two similar age young fellas and just end up going two completely different directions.
Definitely. And that is, where you get born and what your life chances are. And that's why this city is such a remarkable city, because it's managed. It's a long journey, and I'm sure there's still many, many miles on that road still to go, but it has triumphantly and inspiringly managed to overcome its divisions and start to build a bright new future. And that's just a wonderful story, not just for this part of the world, for the world. There are very few cities that can tell the inspiring story of overcoming division that this city can. And why? The answer is because it's always been a creative city, always, for hundreds of years. I mean, this is one of the very first places where, people put pen to paper, This is just a very great creative city, and this festival is reflecting all those facets of the city and illuminating the direction of travel for the future, I think.
And was there any truth to the story that you were originally linked with Rush and Ron Howard was originally linked with Captain Phillips, and how did that work out? Because I heard Mark Kermode mention that.
I did think about doing Rush.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did Captain Phillips. But I liked Rush. I thought Rush was good.
Yeah.
And Ron's a great guy. And
Absolutely.
we know each other. Funny enough, we saw each other a few months ago and had a good old laugh about it.
And I know you've mentioned that you've no intentions of doing another Bourne film, but any plans in the future to work with Matt Damon again?
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely make movies together for sure. In fact, we're talking about one at the moment. But not I don't want to do another Bourne movie. But although I love them, but I just there's too many other movies to make, too many exciting films to make the same film, But we are literally talking at the moment about doing something. I think it'll probably be a year or two away, but we'll 100% we'll make more movies together for sure.
Brilliant.